Hey everybody, welcome to today's update on Daily IoT. On today's episode, I want to talk about productivity and getting things done, execution, which I have not been good at lately. And that's not because I haven't been working. So I've been working on a bunch of things. I've been doing a lot of coordination with agility. I've been looking at some CNC options locally for getting the pucks done. That'll be part of a separate update. I want to talk about the logistics of that. I've been working on a serial debug shell for helping support type things, something that I can walk people through, test some things like test the internet connection from the puck and things like that. I've been working on a bunch of things, the startup experience, the getting started, but there's just so many things to work on that I'm not making as much progress because I'm task switching too much. This is just me. I don't have a boss to report to. I don't have a project management team setting unrealistic goals on unrealistic timelines. And I hate to say this. It's not like I'm going over to the dark side, but I feel like I need a little bit more of that, a little bit more structure around the time that I have to get more done. And I've been thinking a lot about this. Being more accountable, having specific deliverables that I need to deliver on a specific time frame, I think is something that I need right now, because it's a little bit too much of, let me play with this and make some progress here and then come back over here. And like I said, it's not like I've not been doing things. I've been doing things, but the results aren't there. And I'm just being honest with myself. I'm not getting as much done as I know I could be because I'm not focused enough. And my good buddy, Zach from Missouri, I was talking on the phone today. He laid into me a little bit. I love you, Zach. We have a difference of opinion sometimes about what to focus on, what not to focus on. But something that he said that really struck me as definitely true. I feel like I'm very self-aware in what I'm good at, what I'm not good at. And something that he said I definitely recognize as true, but I need to apply it more. And that's I need to be a little less Steve Wozniak and a little more Steve Jobs. And this isn't me being like a Steve Jobs fanboy, he's the greatest ever. Not that at all. But the idea of, there was Steve Wozniak. He was really focused on the tech and making the tech perfect and beautiful, and he wanted to do certain things that Steve Jobs was not on board with, because Steve Jobs was the marketing sales brain trust of that operation. Without Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak's just a maker in a garage doing very cool things, but it never turns into Apple. Now, this is also not me. How do I turn this into the next Apple? I don't. Those are not my aspirations. Those are not my goals. But the statement of, I need to be a little bit more Steve Jobs right now than Steve Wozniak. I'm focusing a little bit too much on the technical perfection side of the product, which is not a bad thing per se, but in trying to make a business, I need to be spending some amount of time thinking more of the business side. Hey, it's good enough. Not cutting corners good enough, but this is at a state where it is reliable enough that it will do what the customers need it to do and will sell. And I think I've gotten a little bit too far off into the Steve Wozniak side of enjoying and relishing the technical side a little bit too much, and forgetting that this is a business and I want it to be a business, so I need to drive it to completion so that it can be a business. And so that's sort of some thoughts today, a little bit more philosophical than technical. And so I want to get to a point, and maybe it's through the vlog of the journey here, maybe it's through some other means, but I want to introduce a little bit more accountability and deliverable, not unrealistic death march deadlines, but taking out pieces of functionality. This is what I want to deliver by this time frame, whether it's this week or in the next 2 weeks, and driving to that so that I'm not getting so far down the technical rabbit hole of, how do I separate these classes to properly decouple them? Those things can have long-term benefits, and I have been focusing. I don't regret focusing a lot on the testing and the Docker setup. Those are things that are going to set me up for success. But from a firmware coding standpoint, I need to balance a little bit more better than I have this idea of getting it to business done versus getting it to technical purity. And so those are just some thoughts on today's episode. Question of the day: how can I think of a question of the day that wraps into that? Who are you more like, Steve Jobs or Steve Wozniak? You more of the tech focus, or are you more into the marketing, sales, selling side of things? Stick it in the comments below. Love hearing from you. And thank you so much for watching Daily IoT, the show where together we're learning how to make the Internet of Things one day at a time.